Let's see.
How does my makeup look?
The camera's still going?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Look, it's right here. It's looking,
There?
but I just don't know where.
There?
Well, I did a little blue under eye moment. Nice big lash.
And I have nothing.
You really smell like cooking oil.
I know I was about to say.
She wanted to say
No, because it's the olive
You
oil.
can use coconut oil.
I'm going to switch.
Yeah. Hey guys, what is up?
Well, what's up?
Yeah.
We are here. We're back in the moment and continuing all the great conversations that we can have.
Yes.
Especially, I guess we're doing more talking now with COVID.
Yeah.
Amongst in our midst, in terms of more time to chat and things of that nature. So I think it's a really good opportunity for us. So
for our visual, we are trying other new things. So we're just playing around. You know, in the beginning, we'll be playing around with a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, I might think better in this chair.
Maybe.
You know.
Yeah. So a lot of things will be changing. So we'll just be trying things.
Yeah.
So this is just a little.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what are we talking about today?
Well, definitely, I'm trying to keep up with you today. Sexy thing
I hope I even look. Sometimes on the camera I be looking bald headed and edgeless and.
Right. But we showed up.
We're in the moment.
No, we showed up.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's important to show up no matter what.
Mhm.
So, one of the things that we have talked about on more than one occasion is what? Texting and relationships. Or rather, maintaining relationships. Or
through your mobile device.
Right, just having communication.
Yeah.
And engaging in dialogue with a significant other.
Yes.
But it could happen, the issue that we'll end up talking about can really be with a girlfriend or,
friends, some friends.
Yeah. So, anyway, my curiosity is, I know one of the things that gets us talking about this is a miscommunication. And or how we rely on texting to get our thoughts out, and then sometimes it doesn't work, and you have to wait. I mean, I have my own sense of the value of texting and where it fits in, and I think there's also a generational difference in how we use it or how we don't use it. So I guess let's just jump in for a minute or quickly. I know that we've talked about situations that, in my head, from the outside looking in, could have easily been resolved.
Talking in person.
Possibly. So
I'm learning, because it's not even more so that I think just in my generation, being that we kind of grew up as technology advanced, I feel like in this dating
technology
age,
advanced.
Yeah, because even when I was younger,
so I'm not advanced because
no, I'm saying I grew up when technology was advanced. I feel like even when I was younger, like internet wasn't even a thing, was it not?
Yeah, but just don't make me feel like I'm in the back. That's all.
Okay.
Use a different word.
Whatever. It doesn't even matter.
Reliance, maybe in how you use it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. And on top of that, I feel like today's dating world, we are heavily reliant on like texting or social media. I know in a lot of people's relationships, social media has been a determining factor in some relationships. And so anyway, back to the whole texting thing. I'm learning that miscommunications are heightened, or you have a higher chance of miscommunication in your relationship, friendship, or whatever when it comes to texting. Like, because it's like one person can say the wrong thing, something that they don't mean maybe, whereas compared to like talking on the phone, you get a direct answer, and it's easier to hash something out when you're in that moment instead of like texting. Maybe you want to say something like it might not be as true as when you're like present, live, talking to somebody on the phone, FaceTiming somebody.
So, are you saying that texting is good, or are you saying that texting is bad?
When it comes to arguments and miscommunications, I don't think texting is helpful. But I have an appreciation sometimes for texting when I feel like I can't get my words across right this minute, so I'm able to draft something up But I think that when it comes to, from my experience, when it comes to miscommunications and when you're in an argument or a disagreement, that it's not helpful.
So you meant, I feel like I heard you say that for your peers, that texting and social media, I think you said, is the way that you guys go about establishing a relationship.
No,
is
not
that
even.
Correct?
It plays a role. I'm not saying that's how we establish it, but it plays a role in relationships nowadays. You can let it play a role, and you can
role?
also
Let's go ahead and define the role.
I'll use example. So for example, for social media, maybe if you're dating somebody and let's say that they let's say you texted them, right? Let's set it up. So I texted somebody, right? And they don't respond. But then you go see them post on social media, but they haven't responded to your text message. But you see them posted on social media. Maybe you just posted a story and they watching your story, but still hasn't texted you back. So I know I have an issue with that, and I know I'm not the only one. So comment below if you have that issue. So no, I'm not the only one. That it's like and it's like you're not obligated. Like, there's also the spectrum of like they're not obligated to text you back. Like there's no obligation to do any of that. But it's just I think when principle is that I think that's the word the principle of things. It's like because social media because that's in our society, so it definitely plays a role in how we interact. Definitely, if that's the case, it feels like an ignorement. Like somebody's ignoring me in real life. Like. That's what it feels like. So I know I don't personally like that, but other people might think the other way.
Yeah, so definitely based on what you're sharing, that texting is very ambiguous. It's a delayed communication. Yes. I think it heightens miscommunication. It heightens misunderstanding, and I think it's a personality thing as well.
Yeah.
Whether or not you are that person that needs immediate responses. And my challenge to you, I feel like in this moment, to say, well, if you want an immediate response, why don't you what?
Call them.
Yes.
So that's the advice that she's been giving. Like that's where this, because that like I said, I'm learning that now. Like if I want to be helpful, you need to talk to the person on the phone, like old school, call, and then it's like, and if you can't call that person. Maybe you shouldn't be talking to them.
I agree.
Maybe you shouldn't be if you're not comfortable speaking to the person on the phone or in person, maybe it's time to reevaluate some things.
And that's a good point because I know for me, I have indeed used texting, or texting has been a mode of communication for me to get to know someone, and it's not ideal, but sometimes it feels like reading a love letter.
Yeah. The back and forth.
Yes, and the delay. Am I going to get it? But then after a while, that gets tired. New becomes old very quick. And indeed, I find myself wondering what actually dictates what moves you to pick up the phone versus texting. What are the parameters that says, you know what, I'm going to call versus text? What do you think? What kinds of conversations or communication needs a text, and what kinds needs? I think it's important.
Like I said earlier, I stressed when it came to miscommunications or arguments and disagreements. I think that's a crucial telltale sign that it's like, let me just pick up the phone so we could just talk about it. Because texting, it had like in my experiences, I raised my anxiety because it's like when you take the time to type out this calculated message or whatever you want to say, you send it, and then again, because you're not talking to them on the phone, you might not get that immediate response that you want. So it's like at that point, it's like you're waiting, whatever the situation was is just lingering on longer and longer and longer. So it's like it's not really that helpful. So I think in situations like that, a face-to-face conversation or immediate conversation is necessary. But I think when it comes to regular everyday talk, texting is it's a cute little thing.
And I think we can always, if we take a second before we do anything, we can determine, okay, why am I texting or why am I calling?
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes I know when I'm actually hiding behind words, when I actually do need that distance, but I want to communicate. And that's not good. That doesn't make for the best communication.
Right.
But it stalls
Yeah.
the truth
Yeah.
in a way. I feel that texting allows us to either delays the truth or it takes us longer to get there. And I do feel that
we can beat around the bush.
Yes, and when we text, we have the safety of, as you use the word calculated. I like to say measured, edited version. You know, where you have time to think about your response.
Yeah.
And not to say that that's less genuine than a conversation, but I feel that a direct conversation, you get honesty quicker. And you know.
And then the person, maybe it's like depending on what the situation is, the kind of answer you want, like you might like getting it from a person right then and there, instead of them being able to think about something to say and them being able to like you can ask your questions.
Yeah.
And get the answer right then and or whatever the case may be. You're just in that moment, like.
So it could be agonizing,
yeah.
You know. So at least we've identified or assessed that texting is great. You know what's funny? I'm not sure if you remember this, but there used to be a time, and I still remember that we were texting. We were bound to 140 characters.
Oh.
I think that went out the window some time ago.
Yeah.
Because
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
You have to send it in, usually like if it was sent like in 1, 2, 3 parts.
And or you couldn't go, depending on what phone you had,
yeah.
you just couldn't go beyond that.
Yeah.
And I think one day I realized, wow, I'm texting, I'm writing, and I'm not getting that, hey, wait, you reach your max, wait a minute. And now you could just send it all. Say everything. Yes. So texting has its place. But I think the one thing that I got from our conversations is the importance of laying down those expectations in the relationship, like text etiquette.
Right.
And text etiquette is different in any situation, but I think it's important. Like, for instance, you know that, you know what, if I send you a text, you have 5 minutes to get back to me. And if it doesn't happen like that, then we have a problem. Or if you say, you know what, if we need to, because sometimes, I'll tell you this, sometimes planning an event or planning to go somewhere and do something via text, good Lord. Back and forth, this, here, here, that. And even as I'm texting this person, are we going to do this? Are we going to do this? I'm like, you know what, if I just pick up the phone, I think we can get to the answer right away in terms of where we're going to meet, what time we're going to meet, and what to wear, and what perfume to put on.
But definitely in that beginning stage, it's that beat around the bush. It's that like.
It's a safety. It's a safety net. It's just
nobody wants to say it right out. Like.
Yeah, texting is a safety net.
Mysterious. Text.
The other day, I wanted to send a text. It was about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
No way.
And I found myself wondering, okay, so even though it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, is it okay that I send this text at that time, hoping or anticipating maybe the person has their phone turned off? And would I be interrupting their sleep by sending this text at XYZ time of night? So I guess I wonder if texting is almost the same, equates as calling someone late at night at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, I sometimes wonder about that because I keep my phone on, but if I'm asleep,
I'm not getting no text.
I may hear it, but
I'm not hearing it.
Yeah. So I guess I wonder if I was like, you know, if I had, you know, pushed the boundary by trying to send that text at that time of night, you know. So, but yeah, texting is, and what about the other thing you mentioned was the whole notion that there's platforms in which you communicate or you receive information. You mentioned you might send a text, but then the person is on Instagram and they haven't yet responded to you. And that gets us into the whole notion of whose account is it anyway? You know, and just because, and is that stalking? You know, if you're looking at someone's Facebook, Instagram, and then you see something that says, not sure how I feel about that, not sure if that's true or whatever, or you take it personal.
Yeah.
You take it personal. And I guess even that, you have to assess what those parameters, because what those parameters are, because I've heard conversation where things posted on Instagram, and you said it yourself, creates a wrench in some relationships, inadvertently or purposefully or whatever. So I think it lends itself to another avenue for miscommunication, misunderstanding, and how we utilize those spaces And indeed, as we are posting things on Instagram, are we supposed to keep in mind our partner or this other person, and does that take away from my independence in this moment to share? Because it could be like sharing with friends, and like when you talk to your girlfriends, your male counterpart is not privy to those conversations. So one might ask, well, how is this different? So it's a very fine line.
It puts things into a different perspective for me, because like I definitely don't want anybody policing my account or like what I post. But on the same tip, I think like once you get into a situation, or at least a serious situation, I'm gonna say, because that's when I feel like you should like take into accountability what you post, because that's like you're gonna watch what you post for if you want to get a job. Like you don't want your job seeing certain things that you post, and that might be a bad example, but I'm just talking about the whole filtering of what you post.
Yeah.
Like when you're in a serious, you don't want to be posting like so you're in a serious relationship, right? You don't want to be posting like
your ass shot.
No. I don't even that. That's one thing. Like I don't care. Like I think it's just you don't want to post anything that can trigger something in your relationship. So it's like if the person doesn't if the person doesn't want you posting your abs, that's a conversation I need to have. So if you want to keep posting your abs, but she don't like it, then it's like maybe I just don't have maybe that's something that's a make or break. You have to figure out what's a make or break in your relationship. From my opinion, I wouldn't mind somebody that I talk to posting ab pictures or posting, but it's like posts that I don't like is like being like say you on Instagram. I'm gonna just give an example, like a personal experience. Should I give a personal experience?
Well, getting personal.
Because not a personal experience, but because I've seen it happen multiple times.
Yeah.
You're in a relationship with somebody, like you're talking to somebody, and
it's almost like the status.
The status thing, like if you posted, like say the person just start posting like they single, who can I tag, who can I talk to, who can I FaceTime, who can pull up on me, who can
spend my birthday with me,
who could do, mind you in the whole picture, like y'all talking, so that's where it's to draw the line. Like you can post whatever, it's your account, post whatever you want, but still be mindful of, because you have to just put yourself in those shoes. Like if you wouldn't want the other person posting that thing, like I just feel like you have to dish the truth.
I think sometimes when we're talking about Instagram and Facebook and all these other platforms where people actually are sharing a lot of themselves, I think might be helpful for us to decide whether we want to look at people's accounts. Is it better for me not to know what you're doing on that side of the world? Not to follow, and that the true essence of the relationship will be between you and I in real time, and not necessarily what you're doing with friends. So I think it's just important to know who you are and how
and what you want.
Yes, from that other person, and what you even consider loyalty, what you consider respectful, what you consider genuine or true to the relationship and what it is. So I think definitely as we try to hopefully leave these conversations with some lessons learned, is that texting as a form of communication and something that we use in relationships, I think there has to be some, I'm going to use the word ground rules, or some how-tos, or some boundaries, or some guidings. There's all kinds of great, more encouraging words to use, but definitely I think it's important to know, where you stand on that, and what kinds of communications for you would prefer to have via phone or texting and so forth and so on. I think the other lesson is definitely determining what conversations need to be had direct, and not shy away. I think for me, I'll speak for me, when I do use text, as I said earlier, sometimes it's when I don't want to deal with the issue or the person, or if I need time or distance. I mean, at other times, texting has a multitasking opportunity where I can text you and I'm doing the dishes. I could text you and I'm washing clothes. So there's that. But sometimes it can feel one-sided in a relationship. So anyway, so definitely let's be sure that we know what line we stand on so that we don't get surprises. And then when we do learn things along the way, that we share that with people.
Yeah.
You know, people are not mind readers. And if you don't tell them how you want to be treated and what you need to have happen to feel special and heard and acknowledged, then you have to put that out.
And there's signs in all of that. Like I feel like having open conversations, the benefit in it is like you get your point across, and then it's like even depending on whatever their reaction is, like will say a lot. Like about where you stand in a relationship, where they stand in a relationship, what the relationship is like. So just being very like open, verbal, like vocal, and not being afraid like to face things head on.
Yeah. I think texting may have people in relationships much longer than they need to be because it takes so much longer to get to that.
Or to get through to there's a lot of just
Yeah. I think I've definitely learned from your experiences.
Yeah. I've learned from mine.
That's what's up. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. I think in some worlds that's called insanity, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that we definitely strive to do is to learn from our mistakes and whatnot. And definitely when we're talking about relationships, COVID-19 has definitely changed how we relate to each other. Definitely we are relying more on texting and possibly more on phone conversation. So I think this could be an opportunity for us to strengthen our relationships and our communication styles and even seeing the value of being understood. And I think I know I start to appreciate the clarity, you know. And for me, sometimes it's brave for me to have a conversation. And it may sound strange to say that, but at times I need to put on my big girl panties to have this conversation, hear this person's voice, actually articulate how I'm feeling, and be ready for the response, whether it be favorable or not. And I think for me that's the hardest part. And
hard conversations are hard though. Like literally.
And texting allows us to
be like, okay.
To
be like, ooh. Let me just, and you can phrase things a certain type of way.
Edit, whatever. But girl, I've told you before, I have taken a long time to do a text, and then I still want to yank it back after I push the send. Oh my Lord.
Yes, that's me. You know how many texts I wish I could just take back and just be like, wish I never bothered. Like,
oh my God, that was too much. That was too this. And usually for me, that's in the beginning of a relationship. When you don't know how far to go, how to tease, how to be this way, how to be that way, how to be coy, how to be flirty, you know. And I have, oh my goodness, whenever that happens, I feel like 12. You know, not my true age as an adult woman who should be able to handle this, but I think that will get us into another conversation about another conversation about the newness, new relationships, new friends, new things. But definitely, I think it's important to know what your texting etiquette is, texting expectations are, you know, and those are, like I said, those are common conversations we've had more than once. So I'm hoping that we can shed some light and get this conversation going in other circles, and people will land on the right place and how they want to talk, because we do, you know, relationships are the foundation of our existence. You know,
I saw a post that said, like, you know how like everybody goes around just urging that communication is key. And it's like, it is key, but like, and then it means nothing if they don't comprehend. So it's like so it's like sometimes texting, they don't get like, sometimes it's like whatever you're trying to say, they just not getting it. Like, so it's like, maybe if you can hear my voice, hear the words that I'm saying, and then whatever your response is, I'll know if you getting it or not. Like, if you're comprehending, because like you could communicate all day.
Yes.
But if the person that you're communicating to doesn't get it, it doesn't even matter.
Very true. Really good point. And that's why sometimes I might say, does what I say make sense? Have Have I used that line when you do?
Yeah.
I think I
Are
have.
you hearing me?
Are you? Are you hearing the words coming out of my mouth? And another, whether it's another tell-all is repeat what I just said.
What did I just say?
Yeah.
And then you'd be stunned. You'd be like.
So okay, let me start again. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Because even with you and I know being your mom, there'll be times when I'm telling you something. I'm like, are you hearing me?
That's her favorite.
How many times have I said that?
A lot.
Are you hearing me?
Well, like.
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Earth to Jelani or Mom to Jelani. I think, but we tune each other out sometimes.
Sometimes, but
maybe not tune out, but I think we take the voice.
It's like a background noise
in the background. So yes.
All right. So wrap up.
Yes. So the wrap up is texting can be your friend when used correct. Not I wouldn't use
when
used
correctly,
but when used with conscious thought, when used with good intentions or intentional, I should say, maybe an intentional use of texting, because it is valid, it's useful, but I think in relationships we want people to just be understood and respected. So I think that's it.
Yes.
What do you want to tell people before we go? Where to find us? You know better than where to find us.
As always, Instagram is #InTheMomentTV. Instagram is In The Moment Podcast, no O or AM Podcast, or you can just search In The Moment, Miss K and J.
And we have both the YouTube and the
Spotify. We're working on Apple Music, so the Apple Music, I know everybody has Apple Music, so we're working on that to make sure that it's even more accessible to people.
Yeah.
But until next time,
text.
Definitely in the comments below if you have anything, embarrassing text moment that you want to share. Just get a little interaction going.
Yes, thank you for reminding me that there is that opportunity for us to hear from you. So give us thumbs up, and if you give us thumbs down, help us understand how we can improve. And get more thumbs up. I know thumbs up. And again, this is new for me.
Like, dislike.
Yeah. Until next time, we want you to be cognizant of your moments and
live in them.
Live in them. I like that. And we're going to check in with you when we come back at our next session.
Yes.
Be safe. Be happy.